thanks so much. So what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to share my screen. I want to go through this, and I am okay with interactivity. So I want you to say, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. Or, hey, let's do this. So this is an overall personality test that I've customized based off of all the tests that I've taken. And so what that means is that I've sat down. The government spent probably several $1 million in 2019 to come up and tell everybody there's 4 personality types. Okay, do you know how many there was before that? 4. Okay, do you know how many types there were all the way from the 60s till now? 4.
Yeah, unless you're into enneagrams, you could have as many as like between 4 and 9.
Right, exactly. But that's just like sexual orientation. There's 72 different possibilities of gender, right?
Just
so
right now.
We can cut up everything we want to possibly cut up, but the answer is everybody breaks everybody down into 4 distinct personality types. And so to me, I found the easiest way to go through it. So I came up with the acronym HERO, because everybody can define their own hero. And there's people that you look at and say, I really respect and like this person. And the reason you do is because they demonstrate certain things and certain traits that you either wish you had, right? Or that you stopped using. And that's normally how you look at it. Now, if you're going to be one of these people that just says, I take the bull by the horns and go forward, then you appreciate anybody else who does that. But if you're not a bull by the horn person, then you can't stand those people, right? And I'm going to break down every one of the 4. But as we go through, one of the things I need everybody to understand is that they are, in fact, you have all 4 parts. Does that make sense? So it's 4 parts of a whole, and we all have every part. It's just what we choose to naturally migrate to and spend our time in. But we will typically spend our time in 2 of the 4 areas. And then I'll explain each area. We'll go through. Now, I choose to explain this is an experiential self-diagnosis. Okay, so I'm not going to sit down and tell you what you are, but I can tell you what you are because I've interacted with you. Okay, but I want the overall process is you need to be able to determine who you are. And if you can determine who you are, you now have a basis point to determine what everybody else is. Okay, so if everybody else is a combination of all 4 and you're a combination of all 4, can you meet them where they're at?
I think so.
Just by adapting your personality. So I'm not asking you to lie and be different, right? There's people on this call that are much more analytical than somebody else, Mike Phillips. But when you look at that, right? Michelle will give him a run for his money as well. So, but I'm going to jump in real quick, if you would allow me to say Frank Ingram will now be my co-host so he can let people in so I don't have to keep answering this doorbell. Who's coming on? Luigi!
What's up, Joe?
We're looking for Camino is coming in the house. Wow, you guys are so wonderful. Thank you so much for everybody jumping in. So I'm going to flip over and share the PowerPoint that I built. And so I think this one says presenter view. That's it. Then we want to do this. See. Okay. So can you guys see my starter slide with the background of the superheroes and the word hero across the front?
Yep. Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Like it.
Fantastic.
That's very cool.
Hey, do we get a copy of the deck after this?
I can so give you a copy of the deck.
I would just like to review it again because I am fairly analytical. And
you think?
Yeah. So
Johnny Richardson is the opposite. He's sitting back going, bro, I'm going to catch this the first time. I'll run out. He'll pay attention to about 10% of it.
Exactly.
Right? And then he'll be like, I got it. And then he'll tell everybody, oh, I know you're a hero. And they'll be like, what? And he'll be like, it's all good, man. You're a hero. Okay. And that'll be his explanation of the whole game. Right?
Exactly.
So
you are a genius, Joe.
I am. All right. So this now I customize this presentation more towards sales. Okay. Now, are you going to have a better relationship if you can identify the other person? Yeah. Are you going to have the fact that you can get better with everybody that you deal with, regardless if you're selling them something or not? But the old saying is what? Every time two people meet, one of them is being sold. So what does that mean? It means every time I sit down and have a conversation with you, if I'm going to tell you a story about me, I need you to do this. When you go, oh yeah, dude, your life has been hard. That's right. You suck really bad right now because of what happened to you, right? And I need you to buy into my drama. And then as soon as you go, yes, that's right, I go, oh, whew. So I sold you on my story as to why I suck. Okay. So that's what happens when two people meet. It's my beliefs versus yours. Okay. So I want you to improve your relationship style because you're going to identify it as yourself and then them, and that will ultimately help you to sell more. Okay. So what are we going to learn today? I'm going to explain the 4 personality types, explain each one of them in detail, right? This is for Mike. He's like, I'm going to screenshot this. No, I'm going to give it to you, Mike, at the end. Okay. But I want to talk about what scares each personality type and what motivates each personality type so that you can actually help to move them along. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, I always ask, does it make sense? Because that's how I close the door and move to the next spot. Because if you, it's an embedded command. I go, does that make sense? You go, yes. Then in your brain, you can't ask me about something later.
You get that free yes. Move forward.
If I turn around and you go, well, I have a question about slide 2 of them ago, your brain goes, no, you said yes.
Right.
You said yes, you understood. You can't
We
ask
all see
me.
you
So
do that all the time, don't we?
I do this every step of my process to make sure that everybody moves through. So now Carrie Carter, she's going to wait till the end and ask a question about slide 2, right? It's just how she rolls, all right? But you'll understand later when you're like, she's such an R, okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to start to identify people this way. I taught this to like a 22-year-old kid that was in here asking me for help. So he keeps texting me, dude, I just met with an H that was, and I'm like, chill, bro, right? Like, do they have a name, right? Or he'll sit back and go, that guy's so E. He is like E off the chart. And I'm like, I got you. So my question to you is, have you ever walked into a room, walked into something, and besides me, had instant chemistry with that person? Right?
Oh,
So, yeah, right. Luigi loved me the second he saw me on Zoom. We've never physically met. Yes. So, but he's here all the time. Okay. But have you ever walked in and you met somebody and you had to work at it to try to get that relationship? And then you met the person and you're like, you know what? I don't even want to talk to you, see you, ever go around you again. Okay.
Yep.
And so in each one of these personality types, the H, E, R, and O, there's a good and a bad. Okay. So I'm not this person. I will tell you, I'll roll my eyes the second you ask me. I think Sherry's done this already. What's your sign? Okay. Right. They go, what's your sign? And I'm like, okay, there's good and bad in everybody. And I don't define it by the stars. It's just me. Now, she also has another test that she can do that will just slam dunk nail you, but it doesn't have anything to do with the actual stars that were in the sky at the time.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Because when they designed your astrological system, the world has shifted since then, and so has everything else. So, because in theory, shouldn't I be able to look up and see the same stars if that's what had a bearing on it? I digress.
I just looked to your office to see the stars.
Yes. I have a background with stars. Yes.
I bet.
So overall, here's the best thing I like is that everyone's different, but yet they are predictably different once you are able to identify their personality type. If you can identify their personality type, they're going to hit you with the same way of doing things over and over again. It's 98.5% of your thoughts today are the same as they were yesterday. Okay. So when you look at that, you're going to think the same thing, which means you're going to react the same, right? We all laugh. There's all those memes about being triggered and things like that. And there's certain things that will trigger certain people, and it's your job to identify what it is in you. Once you can identify it in you, you can do that. But everybody's going to respond. Now, I learned this a long time ago, and it made perfect sense to me that to a hammer, everything is a nail. Okay? You grab something and go, well, no, this is a board, and the hammer says, I hit it, it's a nail. It's like Hulk smash, right? And you'll see we're going to get into all of this superhero thing because I'm a geek. Okay, but I look at it and say, if you have a screw, you should be using a screwdriver, but to a hammer, it just says hit it harder. Okay?
Right.
And so when you
makes
look at
sense.
that, it's just, again, everybody's predictably different. Once you are able to identify yourself, you'll be able to identify them. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's define the heroes so that we understand. Now you can see there's 4 sections. How many parts do you guys have? All four. All 4. So each one of these will make up a piece of you. Whether you utilize it or not is entirely your makeup. Okay. So we're going to look at the H personality. The H personality is somebody who's habitual, headstrong, and hopeful. Oh my gosh, Joe, they all start with H. Yes, I know. Isn't it amazing? Okay. Things like that happen. The E personality is very expressive, energetic, and engaging. Your R personality is respected, regal, and regulatory. Okay. Your O person is organized, orthodox, and obligated. Now, what does this all mean? So if you look at this, we have all 4. So you can see there's a crosshair, and in the middle, it hits the center of the hero. We all have all 4. Now, looking at this, the colors would have to touch for you to have your resting space on who you are. So that means the H and the R don't go together, as those are my 2 normal spots. The E and the O don't go together because they're opposite. So let's look at the O. The O is very detailed kind of person. The E is a very Johnny Richardson and Sherry Gideon's life of the party kind of people that are out there, right? So them crossing the T's and dotting the I's don't go together. But could they if they needed to? So if Johnny has to do a real estate contract, does he know he has to change out of party land and go into detail land to make sure everything's done? Yeah, because he doesn't want it to kick back, because that'll crush his groove later when he's excited. The H person says, I want to be a supporter. I'm going to be somebody who does the same thing every day. The R person says, I am the man. I want to push it forward. So you could look at somebody and say you are an RE, which means you're an expressive, or you're a respected and expressive and energetic. You can be an RO, right? You can be respected and organized, or you can be an OR, which is going to be an organized, respected person. And after we go through all 4, you'll see why you have a tendency to lean towards one, and one will be most dominant. You'll have a backup, and you can use the rest. Does this make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So when we do this, okay, and the reason I'm going to say this is when we do this, because I got some real anal people on this call, right? So what they're going to tell me at the end is, I don't really know which one I am. I don't know which one I am. I couldn't tell you, because there was one time that I yelled at somebody and demanded respect, so therefore I must be an R. And we're like, okay, no, it's your resting state. What do you do? What is your natural state that you're in? And then we'll be able to pull up different parts of our personality in this. Okay. So being the geek, coming up with my little logo with the superhero, I said, is there a team of 4 heroes that are out there that could represent this? Now, I also want to point out, every sitcom show has every personality represented at least once, so that you can relate to a character.
Right.
Okay. And so you can sit back and go, oh my God, because why? Everybody is predictably different, right? They're predictable to do that. So I always look at the show Friends, right? Before Friends was Sex in the City, okay? And they'll have everybody represented. Then you look and go, well, Friends, Sex in the City went off, Friends went away. Then you turned around and go, oh, now it's How I Met Your Mother. right? There's always that crazy life of the party person. There's always the over analytical nerd. There's always the one that says, I'm in charge and telling you what we're going to do. Okay. And there's always the one going, I'm here to help. Okay. So when you look at that, you're going to identify with the character most like you. That's who you're going to look at and go, wow. And you'll see yourself and you'll see your friends in certain situations. So the dogs are all E's. I'm just going to go with that because Stacy's got her dog. Okay. So is there possibly a group of people that are 4 superheroes that work together to fight crime and do things? I'm going to say yes, and they were probably pretty fantastic. Okay. So
I totally didn't see that coming. Totally
I know.
Yeah,
I'm bonding with my superhero geek Mike friend over there. Okay. So I broke out each one of the characters and showed which personality type they represent. So if you look, it starts up with Sue. She's the H. Johnny's the E. Thing is an R. And then you got Dr. Richards is an O. Okay. And those same words match the rest. Now, if you also pay attention, they have a secret identity. And then they have their true hero that's out there. Because what typically happens is I try to use my other 2 as my secret identity. So it's not as easily known to everybody when I put on the tights and become the hero. I'll show you that picture later, Johnny. Right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm loving it.
okay. So this is what Cindy's like, send it to me. Yeah. So looking at this, let's break it down. Let's talk about our H personality. Now, can I also throw out to you that it has nothing to do with whether they're male or female or made of rock, right? This is going to apply no matter what. I'm just showing you the example that's out here. So your H personality, team player, I don't want to rock the boat. Okay, there's somebody that's looking to do the same thing repetitively during the day. So they like to get directions, and I'll go into it. But these are some things about them, right? I'm not going to read the slide to you, but they come through. We love S people or the H people. Does that make sense? We like them. They're not going to be the ones in your face. They're not going to do anything, but they are resistant to change. And we're going to go through, let's talk about them. Let's look at their highlights, look at what pisses them off and who they are as people. So how does your H results when you look at yourself, how do you respond to change? Okay. Because they're people that don't typically like changing anything. They want to come in and do the same thing. I always say an H person, if they have 25 things on their desk, they go, yes, job security, right? Where if you have another personality that's opposite of them, they would be like, I can't stand having all this stuff on my desk. It just crushes my vibe. So when it comes to intensity, the high H personality prefers to start and complete one thing at a time. So they don't want multitasking. Yeah. They want one thing, give it to me, let me finish it. Okay. Now, if they're a low H personality, so they don't have that's not their basis point, then they're okay with changing something. Okay. So if H is your secondary resting point, then you can handle changing a little bit. If there's an antagonistic environment, have we ever been in this meeting, right? In the antagonistic environment, the H will respond passively and try to blend into the background and not rock the boat. So they can handle somebody who is over the top in their face. They're just going to accept it and move forward, and it'll be their fault. Or how do I fix something to make sure it doesn't trigger them again? Now, on the emotional side, if you're very, very H, so it's your first letter in your breakout, right? You're harder to read emotionally because you're just steady and stable. Where a low H you can look at and say, oh, I get it, right? You're good. You're passive, but I can tell that certain things bother you. Okay, so they look at sharing the emotion as a negative thing on the high H. Okay, so what do you bring to the team if you're an H personality? Reliable, dependable, loyal, right? Compliant towards authority. Okay, so these are the people that truly make life nice to live around, because they're not battling for an ego position, right? And their best complement to somebody who is an ego that's there, because they can take the tasks that an ego person will dictate down to them. Okay, they're also the ones that say, okay, let's not, guys, this isn't important. Let's focus on the big picture. It doesn't matter that Johnny ate my sandwich out of the fridge, right? But you know, it was mine, and now I'm upset, right? They're gonna say, I'll make you a sandwich tomorrow. I'll make you a sandwich. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So they're going to teach you, and that way they're going to be the one that does the best at building a team value system and keeping the same things that happen all the time. Now, what are their challenge areas? Okay, I don't want to change. I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday. If you introduce a bunch of changes, they're going to be upset and hold a grudge against the person who's throwing a wrench into their system. Okay, so I'd rather not fight you. I'd rather just give in and let you just be difficult. Okay, and they're looking for direction. Does everybody understand this personality type? Is who they are? Okay, now I also want you to say, what is their greatest fear? Okay, their greatest fear is loss of security. Missed that. So they're afraid of losing security. So if you look at what we're going through now, they were like, I don't get it. I showed up to work on time every day, did everything they asked me to do. I worked harder than everybody else. And now all of a sudden I'm out of a job because the country shuts down, right? These people are shook to the core, and these people are trying to figure out how they can define themselves by work again. And that's what they're looking for on this one. Now, what does an H love? They love it when you express genuine interest as them as a person, not them as the job they're doing, but who they are. Now, for some personalities, it's difficult to bring things personal, right? They're like, I don't want to talk to you about your life. I don't want to talk to you about this or that, but they want you to know that you like me as a person. So we have to give them how to do things. So the answer is, this is how you would go do it, because they're going to listen to the steps. They're going to follow it. They're also going to be the ones that said, do you know, last time you told me I'm supposed to do A, B, D, F, then E, and then C. And so if you go back later and go A, B, C, D, E, F, they go, whoa, 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 whoa. That's different than what you said last time. Okay. So you have to be conscious of what it is there, because they're going to do it the same way over and over again. I had a girl work for me who said, hey, here's the situation. How do I do it? I go, well, it depends. She goes, no, things don't depend. They don't depend. She's like, it's black and it's white. You tell me what the rule is and I'll go forward from this point forward. Okay. And so and I was like, well, it depends. So, because I'm going to be difficult. So they need you to clearly lay out, this is what I expect of you. This is what it is. And if you appreciate them, they will continue to put up with all the rest of your crap. But it has to be in sincere appreciation for those people. Okay. When you have to do a change, guys, you have to sell it to them and explain to them how it's better for them. So when you walk in, go, look, I know this is going to be difficult. I know it's going to be this, but what I need is your help on this situation to move forward so that we can get things done faster. Otherwise, you're threatening their position, their way of being. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Yes. Close the door. Move to the next slide. Right? So H's have difficulty understanding you if you're pushy, overly aggressive, Johnny, or demanding and confrontational. Right? So they automatically go, okay, I have to go to shutdown mode and I have to go through, and they'll hear you, but they won't take it as easily as they would had if you come up and said, I appreciate what you've done, but these are the changes we need to make going forward. Okay? So how do you identify a customer, a prospect, a potential customer if they're an H? This person always says just looking, right? What is an H afraid to do? Make a decision. They're afraid to make a decision because they're not out there saying, this is what I want to do. They're out there saying, I need to get enough justification to do it. They'll tell you, well, this is only the first place I've been to. They could be to a whole bunch, but they're going to tell you it's the first place. You're the first person I looked at. I'm going to need to gather some more information, but they don't need to. They just want to tell you this because they're afraid of it. I will tell you, in the automotive space, I get people that go, well, I don't want to feel the pressure of coming down there. Okay. Now, for those of you that aren't the H personality, you're going to go, dude, this sounds stupid. But I'm going to tell you, I look at them and I say, tell you what, I'll own the decision of you buying when you come down here, so you don't have to worry about it. You can just take a look at the car and decide. Right? And they're like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to own the decision. No, I'm going to tell you whether you're going to buy or not. But that's what they're looking for. But I'm going to have to build enough camaraderie and enough bonding with them. Right? H's want you to take their consideration in place. So I'm going to tell you what I want. If you just walk in and go, you need to buy this, they go, yeah, I'm just looking. Remember I told you that already? Right? I just wanted to check things out. That's all I wanted to do. So all they're trying to find is someone who they can like, trust, and respect. That's their key common things that they're going to look for from you. Okay? So how do I convey that? Okay?
Hold
I
on,
always
go
tell
back.
them, well, I'll tell them, I don't blame you. There's a lot of products
Joe.
out there, right?
There's a typo on the screen before.
Okay.
Under it's they are looking. You have the, so just FYI.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt your flow, but
It's all good. That's what this is for. H15, they.
I just have a concern while you're taking notes. What if I'm an H.O? Does that make me a H.E.R.O personality? Okay.
Yes.
I was just
But
thinking that I was maybe.
And again,
I was thinking through
we
this.
actually
that maybe I
know
was
that to
O.
be true. Now you could also be an O, which is just the OH if you reversed it. So
Oh, all right. I could be that.
yes,
Joe,
we
and I-
haven't got to the O's yet, so it's maybe you're going to be an O.
I'm
Just so you
voicing
know.
I'm voicing an early concern. That's all,
Right,
Joe.
absolutely.
I think I'm a hoe.
Absolutely. But the fact that he already went through that and did that tells you that O is the first letter. When we get there, you'll see. Okay.
So, Joe, let me ask you a question. Going
Uh-huh.
back to that original square where you have the hero, you said they can be a diagonal goal like this.
I'm saying when we get through with this, you'll realize diagonal is not your two resting spaces.
So it's up and down or sideways.
They have to be
They need
touching.
to
So the
they need
ones
to be
across
touching.
from each other don't touch. Okay. So I always, when you look at these people, right, these are the people that are looking for you to guide them through all the processes. Okay. So I'm going to tell them, I bet you everyone you meet's trying to sell you a product. Now, the word product is replaced with what you're selling. Okay. So don't use the word product. So if I'm selling sales training, I'm gonna go, I bet you everybody you look at is gonna try and sell you sales training. Okay. If I sell life coaching, I'm gonna go, everybody you know is gonna be a life coach trying to sell you a product. Am I right? Okay. And let them answer you back. Because all that does is shows that I know what you're going through, which helps me to build with you on that I'm going to be the one you like, know, and trust because I'm telling you something you already know. Right. And this person is the one I'm going to say, look, when you're ready, what would you like to get? What is your ultimate end scenario? But I'm going to give you the choices, right, that I'm guiding you through the process. Okay. So if I'm in real estate and I'm dealing with an S personality, goes, look, we're just looking. I don't want to commit to anything. I'm like, great. So when you do become ready, are you looking for a condo? Are you looking for a house? Do you need a pool? Do you not? And let them start answering so you can build this database. Because once you say, I think I have something that may work for you, I can't tell them I have the perfect thing for you. Okay. Because they don't believe you know what's perfect for them yet. So you have to get all the information you can possibly get to tell them and then say, look, I understand when you're ready, I'm going to be able to show you something that will work for you. And you, honestly, I'll just let you know what is real. I don't want you to waste your time. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put together only the stuff that meets the initial criteria. And then we'll go through each one of them together. And they're like, oh, we're together. That'll be wonderful. Okay. So know your people, right? Let's talk about the E's. Okay, so we moved past the H's, we're talking E's. So they are expressive, enthusiastic, energetic. They join the 75 hard, right? And then realize it's hard, okay? It's emotional, right? It's
Yeah.
they
You don't know
trust
me.
people instinctively, right? They're gonna trust them. Optimistic, persuasive, right? These are my true people that when you go, you were born for sales. Okay. These people, they love it. Now, what I also enjoy about these people is they bring the energy to the equation. If you guys weren't on in the very beginning, Sherry came in dancing into this Zoom. Okay. She chooses to have the beach behind her with the palm trees. Okay. And so you can always look around the room and go, okay, the people that have the backgrounds, for example, Mike, now this is Mike's over analytical detail because he went and found the picture of Pow to go with Batman from back in the day, right? So that's going to tell you where the O is coming from. So
don't put me in a box, bro. Don't
I'm
put
putting
me
you
in
in a box, baby. A box of
unless
all
I'm in a
four.
box with like
A box
okay.
of all four. Yes. So now this person is the person that jokes. This is the person who laughs. This is the person who speaks before they started thinking. Okay. And they throw things out there and go, oh, damn, that, yeah, I guess that could have been misinterpreted as that way. Okay. So when you look at this person is great. Everyone likes this person. Here's the issue with this person when we go through. Okay, so we're going to go dig a little deeper into the E personality.
So there
I
are
will
no
tell
issues
you,
with this person. There are no issues with this person.
right, of course. But what's
There's
hilarious,
nothing wrong with me.
guys, what's hilarious is that when I got to the E's were like, that's us, baby, yeah. Sherry started dancing. Johnny's over here going, uh-huh. Stacy's waving into the camera, right? So if you, now, Christy, you don't get to see that. Now you feel left out, but I'm okay with that, right? So you can't see everybody if you're on your phone, but when you're looking at the whole screen of people, the E's are always like, yeah, if we did this in an auditorium and I go, now here's our E personalities, they would all cheer and they'd be all excited. And let me tell you right now, you don't even have a clue what this means yet, but you excited about it. Okay. You're like, hot damn, I'm that. And you're like, but what does that mean? Don't know. I don't know, right? These are my favorite salespeople because you start off at the beginning of the month, you go, hey, how much money are you going to make this month? Right? And they go, I don't know, but I'm excited. Okay? Do you guys see how that in itself is not going to lend itself well with my H personality? Right?
Yeah.
The H personality is like, I want to know what I'm doing, what I'm going to get paid. I want to have all this security, right? And the E personality is like, I don't know, wing it, baby. Wing it. Jump in now. Let's jump in. Come on. Okay.
Got me out of my seat.
Yes. Okay. So now, energy for the E. The higher you are in the E. So if it's your first letter, okay, then you're going to be way more verbal and persuasive, and you're going to be able to influence people to make a decision. Okay, I will tell you, you never listen, but right, because you're so busy going, my voice is the best voice. Okay, that's why I do these meetings, Mike. So I get to talk more, right? So
you try to most of the time.
Now the person who's lower in the E, where it's their second of their resting spots, right? They will actually use data and facts. Okay, so they'll sit down and go, no, da 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 da. So me calling you out is utilizing the E personality, but I'm using the detail side based off of everything I've learned from you to get to that point. Okay, so my E personalities are more natural to be in the sales arena, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're the best at sales. Now watch Johnny's face, right? I am, baby. Yes. Okay. In an antagonistic environment, the E's respond actively and may try to negotiate an agreement, or they'll apologize quickly. They'll go, I'm sorry, just because I don't want you to crush the vibe. Right? Oh, you want me to say sorry? I'll say sorry just so you can hear me say sorry, and let's move on and keep going. Right? I knocked over your lamp and broke it at the party. Dude, I'm sorry. Let's keep going. I still need to be on the table dancing. So as far as emotions, your high E's are joyful and optimistic. Your low ones tend to be very pessimistic. So understand, the E personality, you got high highs and you got low lows. Okay? And so you will always have to seek out somebody else with an E personality to get you out of the dumps when you hit the bottom. Right? That's when you go, hey, I'm going to go call so-and-so because they're going to lift me up. Right?
That makes sense.
And the worst thing is when two E's are at the low. Right? They both sitting at the bottom going, dude, we're going to die. We're going to die. And you're like, you don't have to go to death right now. You don't have to get to death just yet. Okay? But that's the way they roll. Okay? So everybody knows what they are. Now, what does an E bring to the team? They are very, very creative when it comes to solving problems because they don't sit in the same box Mike does. I mean, other people do. Right? They can go beyond what's immediately in front of them, and they're the ones that go, what if we did this? Right? Johnny will sit back and go, what if we get a giant balloon with my picture on it and put it above the house that's for sale so everybody can find it? Right?
Oh yeah. You need a phone number on that, Johnny. You need a phone number.
There you go. There you go. See, we
actually
need Mike to
input.
remind you because Johnny just cares about his face. Right? and Mike needs to be there to go, bro. They need to contact you, not walk around Vegas looking for you. Okay? Hey, you're the guy from the balloon, right? Okay? But they will encourage you. They will get things going. Other people get motivated. These are the people that change the energy in a room when they walk in. Okay? These are the people. If you look at it, right? Robin Williams did, what is it? Good Morning Vietnam. Right? And how did he shake up everybody?
Yes.
He walked in the morning and said, good morning, Vietnam. That was his radio show, right?
Yep.
And it was so refreshing because he changed the energy of what was going on as opposed to 25,000 more people died today. This happened, blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, man, we're going to have a good time. We're going to share information together and make it this way. Okay? So they have a positive sense of humor. Okay? And they can negotiate any conflict between people because the answer is let's just be happy. Okay, they can do that as long as they're up, right? If they're down, they will tell you how you're all going to die someday. Okay, but we do need these people because they make the energy happen and they're pushing everything forward. But their secondary personality is what's going to drive where they go. Okay, so what issues do we have for the Johnnies and Sherrys of the world, right? Stacy's in there with you too, right? You don't know how to pay attention to details, right? You give them directions. They'll miss 2 or 3 steps in the middle of directions, not realizing you need to turn on this street before you get to this street, okay? So to them, the best thing ever was Google Maps on their phone, right? They're like, oh, this will make up for the fact that I never pay attention to what the details are. So they definitely look for a lot of the feedback back from people as opposed to, like, these are the individuals when you say your paycheck is whether or not you're doing good or bad, they're like, no, it's not. It's what does everybody else in the department think about me, right? If they think I'm the stud, they think I'm the goddess, then I am. And they're like, okay, but you're going broke in the process. Let's focus on putting the energy in the right steps, right? And then they go, don't crush my groove, dude, okay? Very, very animated in their facial gestures and their hands. Right?
Is that true or what, Johnny?
These are people that knock the phone out of their own hand while they're talking. Right? They're trying to do things. Okay, so you're like, how did you drop your own phone? We're talking on the phone. Like, because it's amazing. Oh shit, where did my phone go? Right? So,
I was watching Johnny's video last night. He's like this.
So, right? But at the same time, when you're dealing with this high E person, you can't say, here's the list of questions I'm going to give you, and here is what you're going to answer back. And they're like, no, it's not, right? I can tell you right now, you go, hey, Johnny, this is what we're going to talk about. He's like, I got you, bro. I got you. And you're like, okay, but we're going to go over this and that. But you don't get Johnny on there and go, let's talk about every line on a contract to buy a house, right? Johnny's like, you know what? I got people for that. Let me work my magic, right? The only personality type that believes there's magic in themselves, right? Okay, that's them. And they tend to only listen when it's convenient for them.
What'd you say?
Exactly.
I need you to get your cameras out of my house, Joe Ingram. This is just very disconcerting. I'm not okay with that.
Yes. Okay, so what do we think is the greatest fear of an E personality?
Boring stuff.
Nobody likes.
People not liking them.
Nobody likes them.
Rejection.
Correct.
Rejection. Rejection. They don't understand. If somebody, right, you want to crush Johnny's spirit today, go leave a bad Yelp review.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right? It's physically hurting him just talking about it right now.
I'm on it.
Yeah. That's awesome. But do you see what I'm saying? It's rejection, and public rejection hurts 10 times more than private rejection, but all rejection hurts to that E personality. Okay? Now, how do we make our E's on the call feel better about themselves? Okay? We give them a chance to talk. Right? How amazing is that? Tell me how this makes you feel, Sherry. Right? And Sherry's like, and we're going to have 30 minutes of Sherry telling us exactly how she felt, right, so far in a 20-minute presentation. So it's like, how do you have more length of talking than what we have? We've already covered, right? You could have read my whole presentation back and been in 20 minutes. So when you look at this, right, it's all that. Help them put their talk into action. So when they say, this is the idea, this is what I came up with, the answer is, here's the next couple steps to get you there. They can appreciate that because you listen to them and you're telling them where to go. Will they do it? Not necessarily.
I did what you said yesterday.
Did you?
I got my Post-it notes.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Now, mind you, I told her she had to get a Post-it note, write a whole bunch of stuff down, fill a wall with them. Now she's stopping to go, I have Post-it notes. Okay, do we see how that's one step of the steps?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And now, but did you hear that the answer was, can you recognize me for the Post-it notes?
Yep.
Do you see? Hey, praise me after step 1 of 10, buddy. Right? Okay.
And Joe,
again,
you already knew that.
I did, which is why I called out exactly what was happening next. Right? If she had her whole wall done, do you think that background would be on? No.
No.
She would be, the background would show all the, look, Joe, here it is right here. Yep. Right. I would have got a FaceTime video yesterday to show it was all done. Right. All that stuff. Okay. So.
Thank you for telling me what to do.
Yeah, exactly. We're here. So you got to recognize every accomplishment. Okay. Johnny was able to get on the Zoom today. Oh, way to go. Right. And as frivolous as it is, it's still, even if it's just flat out cheesy, they still going to be grinning and liking it. Right.
Yeah.
The personality is going to be, that's right. That's right. You could be joking, but you still talking about me. That's a good thing. Right. E personalities are like, do you have a stage that I can stand on? Okay. So understand, those with an E personality get on a Zoom with their camera on. There is no, my camera's off, I just want to watch. That's not them. They're like, you need to see me. Okay, you haven't showered in 3 days, you haven't shaved, Sherry, right? But no, you look and say, what's going on? And they're like, this is me, you need to look. Okay. Now Luigi had to turn it on because it was off. And now he's like, oh crap, do I feel bad? No, Mike's taking a phone call in his office. He's okay.
So
right? Michelle hasn't turned it on once, right? So Michelle's actually in a park. She just turned it on and walked away. So we're talking to squirrels right now. So, okay.
Hey, where are the squirrels? I don't see the squirrels.
Exactly, because she's in the park, bro. Right? So you got to keep things light and good-hearted with the E personality. Now remember, don't all of us have this personality too?
Yes.
Right? Some people need the excuse of drinking first to let this personality out, but we already have that H personality. We already have the E. Giacomino, give me a couple of boxes and I'll be an E. Okay? It's how it works. But
100%.
all right. What do E's have difficulty understanding you when you do all the talking? Right? When you take away social time in the office, right? They don't want to even deal with you at all. Okay? So understand, who has the biggest issue with being isolated in quarantine?
E's.
E personalities are going to have it. right? The analytical people are going to say, well, I understand the overall mortality rate. That we have those people, right? Luigi's there for me. He'll always tell me what the overall grand scope of things. He finds every article about every single thing that's going on and shares with us, because I ain't going to do it. Giacomino ain't going to do it.
Nope.
Right? We're not going to go dig for this stuff. He's like, I got you. See, he's like, yeah, dude, I'm with you. Okay. But again, the H personality is going to have an issue because they're by themselves and not doing what they're normally doing and interacting with people. But the E personality has no stage. Okay. The E personality, guys, the E personality will always jump on the Zoom because it's interactivity and it's a chance to be out there in front of people.
Especially right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Zoom. I mean, I jumped on the Zoom last night, right? My brother was on that one. They started the Zoom and the guy goes, Joe, how many Zooms you been on today? And I said, I've been on 5 today, including this one. And when this ends at 9 p.m., I have another one. So it'll be 6 for the entire day. And they're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, you ain't an E, baby. You ain't got this, right? I can handle it. So I taught my children, coming from the E personality I have, right? Every time I won an award for a company I was at a dinner and go through, they got to cross the stage with me. And I taught them, I said, here's what's going to happen. Every eyeball in this place is going to be looking at you. And they look at me, and my oldest one was like, yeah. My youngest is like, well, wait, what? Right? I'm like, they all going to be looking at you because you're a winner. So just remember, you're a winner. You need to set an example for them. And they're like, oh, okay. So they ain't scared to talk in public, right? The E personalities have no clue when somebody says the number 2 fear or the number 1 fear in the world is public speaking. You do realize number 2 is death. So you are more afraid to talk to a group of people than you are to dying. That makes no sense to me in any way. But I don't have a natural fear of getting up in front of people, right? And I will embellish it, right? My largest audience I spoke to was 600 people. Do I tell that to people? I go, no, I had 1,200 eyeballs on me. Right? No pirates in the group, okay, because they only got 1. But that's what I look at and say, this is who I did. This is who I got, okay? So if I'm going to tell you guys to do detailed things, if I said, okay, Sherry, here's the next 47 things you need to do to make your idea real, gone. Gone. After the 3rd step, she's like, nope. Right? So 1 step at a time to get them there. How do you identify somebody who is an E personality that's coming in to buy? Okay, I will tell you the easiest way to understand any E personality is they elongate their vowels. Okay, it's weird. It's serious. They're like, hey, what's right? And you're like, E, got you, right? E personality needs the buying process to be fun. Okay, right? And so by degree, I'm an electrical engineer. Do you see how my personality doesn't fit? When I got into the business world as an engineer, I quickly moved to management because they were like, dude, you need to shut up. And I'm like, I'm done with my work. And they're like, everybody else is still working. So I quickly moved up into management because I could deal with people, where an engineer person doesn't deal with people. They stay in their box and they just want to use their mind to do stuff. So, but the E prospect will be very friendly, outgoing. You need to pay attention to how they talk and their mannerisms. Remember, they're the ones that'll be moving more and describing what it is they're looking for. Okay. And you have to shut up and listen. Okay. The E personalities, 2 E personalities get together. As they're talking, each one is hurting each other's feelings because they're starting the next conversation while the other one's still talking. They're fighting for the mic time. They're like, no, that's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. And they go back and forth with, let me talk more. Let me talk more. Okay. So you got to make sure those people that want to talk and want to actually have a good time with you. Those are the people. It's okay. So next slide. What do I need to say? I need to tell them how the product looks great. One of the big things you can tell an E person is imagine what your friends are going to say when they see you with this. Okay, make it about them being in the spotlight. Okay, now the last one is the one I like up all the time, right? So if you think it sounds a little cheesy, that's because you're not an E personality. Because the E personalities all smiled and started nodding. Okay, so understand it's okay to make compliments. I tell people all the time, if I know you're an E personality and you're like, oh, I want to do this. When I go to a dealership, I always tell them, I go, man, just think about what your neighbor's going to see when they see this car in the driveway. What are they going to think about you? And they go, yeah. And they start beaming, right? They're like, okay. I'm like, whoa, what's going to happen on Facebook when you post the picture of your new house right now? Yeah, I'll have the most likes ever, right? Those are the people that everybody's going out there, which is like Instagram took away the number of likes, right? That totaled at the bottom, which hurt every E personality. Every E personality is like, how do I know if I'm popular? I have to go count them all now, right? And so, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that. But again, looking at that, that's what's there. The E's get the endorphin hit from recognition from people. Okay, so we're going to move. Let's talk about some R's. Okay, now some of you are in here going, why does he look all grumpy? Because most of the time you are too. Okay, so the R person is somebody who says, hey, you're going to respect me, right? I'm going to be the risk taker. I'm going to jump out, right? So if you look at somebody who's an RE, okay, they're going to say, look, I run this office and you're all going to have a good time while you're here, right? Not necessarily are we friends, but I'm going to create a great environment for you and everybody needs to get along. There needs to be harmony. Where if I flip them around and say it's an ER, then the ER is the person going, guys, we're in this together. Let's lock arms and go forward. They're not leading from the front, they're leading from within. Okay, but your R person is typically your leader. Okay, high ego. Add it to me. I don't care, bring it on. They're also the person that stops and goes, look, give it to me. Just give it to me. And they're going to turn around and go to their little H person and say, here's the list of things to do. Right? But they're taking the responsibility part of it. Okay, so they're going to take responsibility. So in the responsibility part, that's part of the R. Give it to me, give it to me. They're a self-starter. They're either going to do it all themselves or they're going to delegate it. Okay, so looking at the R personality, there it goes. Okay, let's look at their intensity. The higher of the R personality they are, the more regal they see themselves, right? The more active and intense they'll be in trying to overcome problems and obstacles. They're going to be like, oh, bring it. I'll get past that one too. We're going to run right over it. Okay. Remember, what's the shortest distance between 2 points? A straight line. Okay. Now, if the R is at 1 point and their goal is on the other side and you're in between, they will step on your head to get there and you should have been smart enough to move. It's not about that. One of these words they typically tend to, the really silly words are the ones they stop using, like please, thank you, sorry, stuff like that, all those stupid words. Okay, they're not going to be the ones using those words because they're going to go, you understand. Understand, I'm the boss, I'm going to go push things forward, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, the lower the R personality, the more data you gather before you make a decision. Okay, but a true R personality is they want to make the decisions. Give it to me. The decision comes up, yes or no. They'll walk into a meeting and somebody goes, well, I don't know, should we do it? They'll go, do it. And you're like, you didn't even hear the whole 20 minutes before this discussion. And they're like, let's do it. I can overcome it. Come on. Let's get it done. This is the person that's going to lead from the front and push people forward. Okay, their biggest asset is going to be the group of H's that they can put around them to guide, direct, and get things done and map things out. Okay, in an antagonistic environment, they're the ones that are aggressively right back. Okay, so if somebody becomes antagonistic to them, they're going to jump right back in their face. And all the H's are sitting back going, dude, just chill. Can't you just chill? Just wait till they calm down. And they're like, oh, hell no, you don't talk to me that way. Okay, so in the emotion side, the higher the R, the quicker you get to anger as your lesson. These are my hammers. They're the ones that immediately, when you say something to challenge them, they go, you're a nail, I need to hit you. 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 And quite often their answer is, I will hit you. So be careful, duck, right? But this is going to be my R person. What value does the R bring to the team? Okay, so the R will bring in, hey, I'm going to be a bottom line organizer. That's their favorite line. Just get to the bottom line. Get to the, what's the net, right? Get to the bottom line. Okay, so they're gonna value their time, which makes it easier for them to value your time. Okay, but whose time is worth more? Theirs, right? Because they'll be sure to actually delegate it to you. But these are the people, right, that sit down and say, I'm going to push to the next level. I'm going to take the company to the next level. My team is going to outperform the other people. And depending what their backup is whether they're going to use the data to get it or they're going to use the emotions to get it. Okay, but typically very innovative. They can come up with that. What are their challenge areas? Here's the favorite line from the R personality. Okay, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Right? I say that all the time. I love that. I'm like, pfft. And when I hire people, I look for people with that same tendency because I want to replace my position wherever I'm at. I want somebody who can do what I do so I can be freed up to go to the next thing. So based off of my personality makeup, I don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again every day. I don't feel comfort in knowing what I'm going to do today. When I first went into aerospace manufacturing, there was a guy that got assigned to work for me, right? When I became the boss, he had been in that job 2 years longer than I had been alive. And I was like, you've been at this company in this one job for 2 more years than I've been alive. And I'm your boss that you have to report to. He said, I know what I'm going to find every day. I know what I'm going to do. There's no surprises. There's no drama because I know what I'm going to do every day. And that's what he saw value in, where anybody with the R personality is like, you are just flat out crazy. Okay. So what is the biggest fear of this control freak kind of individual? What are they afraid of the most? They're afraid of being taken advantage of because they failed to get it, right? They didn't see it coming, and all of a sudden you put them together. Now they're like, oh my gosh, this is just painful. So their biggest fear is that, which is why they try to control every step in the negotiation, which is why nothing's an emergency until they tell you it's an emergency. Okay, so that's what they're looking for in that part. And all they really want to do, right? They want to be respected. So what is it that they love the most? Okay, they love if you can summarize your statement as quickly as possible. Okay, so I will tell you, I'll use my mother as an example. If it takes 10 words to say something, you will use 80. Okay? Now, my bride, on the other hand, if it takes 10 words to say something, she'll say 3 and you should extrapolate the rest. Okay? She's like, you should have got what I meant to say. Okay? So it's short to the point. There is no story. We don't need the colorful background. We don't need all the rest of the stuff. It's get to the point, right? You ask them what and not how questions. Okay, so what are you thinking about this? What would you like to do on this one? Okay, I don't ever ask them and say, how do you want to proceed? Because their answer is, oh, what? So you don't have a process? You don't even know how to do your job? Right? But I can ask them what they want to do next. Here's your options. They love to make decisions. Okay, so my personality is more this. Okay, right, with the E backup. But when you give me this one here, now, as a control freak, if I have to work with a control freak customer, do you see how all of a sudden that becomes this? Mm-hmm. right? And it's like, how do I work with this person? Well, to me, what I find is I'm going to offer them choices. Okay, so I'll go back to dealership. Customer comes in, look, bottom line, I want the best price, this and that. I go, I understand, time is money. And they go, that's right, time is money. My time is worth more than yours. And I go, oh, absolutely. So let me ask you a question. Are we gonna take the short test drive route or the long test drive route? What do you want to do? Right? And they're like, the short one. Do they know my drive route? No, they're going on the same damn one, and I giggle inside. Right? Because I'm like, I'm controlling you, right? I'll sit down and go, what do you want to do, A, B, or C? Now, I didn't even let you know there was a D, E, and F because I'm in control. So they go, B. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. So I can utilize my personality type to trigger their personality type, and they believe they're in control. At the end of the sales game, how do you know you won? They bought. Right? It's the money exchanged hands. So at the end, I'm going to win, even if I just got to use a different part of my personality to get there. But I can't look at them and go, bullshit, you're doing it my way. This is how it's going to go through. Because they're going to do what? I'm going to leave and go look for an H at another dealership that'll let me dictate it. Right? I'm going to go look for a different realtor to tell them this is what I'm going to do. Right? And again, you go, why? Because I'm going to dictate everything to them. Great. You can dictate everything you want. You want 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom? Did I offer 2? Did I offer 5? You know what I'm saying? You can actually keep yourself in control by controlling the questions and the options that they have. Okay? Always agree and then point out the flaw in their language. Okay? So they have that one. They can't stand anybody rambling. Okay, anybody who's going to try to give more and more and more and more, thinking they need more, you lost them. They don't even want to talk with you anymore. Okay, so Luigi and Giacomino understand. So does Rachel when I say Maniac Mac. Okay, it don't matter what personality you are, I mean, right? You know you don't want to listen to Maniac Mac because he will take and break down everything. Okay, it's like, okay, so I was on my computer. He goes, let me tell you how a computer was made. And he'll go into this whole dong story. Johnny, I forgot you here too. Yeah, you know, right? But to the E personality, you're killing me because you kill my buzz. And the R personality is going, shut up, get to the point. Shut up, get to the point. So don't repeat yourself in the story, right? Focus on a problem instead of a solution. The R personality doesn't want your answer to the problem. Okay? They don't want you to solve their problem. They want you to talk about the problem so they can get to the answer and make it theirs. Okay? So you can bring up problems all day long. Guess what the solution most of the time is? Whatever I'm selling. But they have to get to it. I can't go, do you see how this will solve all of your problems? They're going to say no. Okay? I do this all the time. I can't stand it when people go, have a good day. I always answer them back. My brother can attest to this one too, right? I always go, don't tell me what to do. Okay? My default answer all the time. They go, hey, I had like 100 people working for me at one dealership, and all night long, every time somebody left, they go, have a good night, boss. And I go, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell. And they're like, well, then have a crappy night. I'm like, that's still you telling me what to do. Right? And finally, some little kid walked up and goes, I wish you a good night. And I was like, oh, thanks. I wish you one too. So then at the end of the night, everybody walking out going, I wish you a good night. Wish you a good night. I'm like, that's okay. You can wish all you want. That's on you. But don't tell me what kind of night I have to have. Okay? And that's the personality type you're looking at. I think Cindy's trying to say, yes, I agree with you. Don't tell me what to do. So identifying them. They're going to walk in. They're going to say, look, I want your best price. I only have 5 to 10 minutes, right? Which is amazing. They somehow decided they're going to come look for a house in 10 minutes, right? Right. So if you mess around with me, I'm out of here. Okay. Now, some of you can hear yourselves saying these things, Carrie Carter, right? Can we cut to the chase? Okay. And bottom line it for me. Just bottom line it. Okay. That's, again, their favorite terminology to do that.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to them? I go, excellent, my pleasure, consider it done. Use one of the three, don't use them all. You sound really weird when you use them all, right? That's just one of those answers. They go, this is what I want to do. I go, excellent. Okay, they go, oh, good, you heard me, you're listening to me, I feel respected, and I get to call the shots, right? I always tell them, just point to whatever product or service you want, and I'll wrap it up right away. I'm not going to get into a price battle with you because you have other things that are more important. Your time is worth more than whatever's there. Okay. Now, I have two options. You tell me which way to go. Boom, boom, boom. Now they get to make the choices, and now I'm guiding them through whatever needs to be there. So when they find a product they're interested in, right, you need to ask them, do you want to review it more or look at something else? They're already showing you the interest. You already think you know, right? And I go, you just tell me, you're the boss.
Okay.
And their answer is, yes, right, I am. Okay. And they're going to tell you, let's move forward. Okay. If they find something they want, you either go for a price negotiation or a deal. They love to go, let's wrap this up. I don't have a lot of time. Let's just wrap it up. So you know you landed them on a product they see value in, right? But they will initiate the move forward. Your job is just to guide them through that process by offering them different options. Make sense? We know what an R is, okay? Let's get to Mike. I mean, let's get to the O characteristic that's here, okay? Organized, orthodox, obligated, detailed, analytical, high standards, and very systematic.
I think you've got me wrong.
Yeah. You're going to give me a flow chart later of how I'm wrong?
No. I think this is my second mode.
Okay.
It's just that's all you've seen.
It's quite possible. I haven't had drinks with you, right?
Oh,
So
you should.
Yeah. That's when the E comes out. But in the intensity world, the higher the O, right? They understand the reason to follow the rules. Okay. The lower the rules, they're just going to accept it. They're going to sit down and go, I don't know if that's the right thing. I don't know if we want to do that. Right. But if they're a really high O, they go follow the rules, then we can talk about it. But they're not going to challenge it prior to actually taking action. In an antagonistic environment, right? So let's just pay attention to Mike. They respond in a passive-aggressive manner and then seek to justify their actions. See, you haven't seen me too much. You haven't.
What? Dad, I'm not passive-aggressive. I'll just come right out and tell you where it's screwed up.
That's what he
Just
says.
saying.
That's what he says. Sorry. Now
I do like the lab coat.
I know. We go back to the emotion side. The higher the O, the more cautious and analytical they are. The lower they are, the more fearless they are. Okay, because again, where's their confidence going to come back from? My knowledge base, what I have. So I can definitely. So if it's their secondary one, then they're going to be more fearless. Where if it's their primary one, they're going to be like, let me reanalyze. Okay, these are people that can write computer code. These are people that balance their checkbook. Okay, for me, every time I had to balance a checkbook, I put ESP, right, which meant error someplace, and I'd write whatever the bank said I had on the statement. Okay, because I didn't want to get lost in the details. Where my ex-wife would chase it for 2 hours on a Saturday down to the penny. I'm off by 2 cents, and I would go throw 2 cents on the table and go, "Can you be done now? Let's move on." But I don't have to live that way, right? So what does an O bring to the team? They're a realist, okay? They're pretty even-tempered when it comes to what's going on because they take everything as input, okay? They will actually complete all the tasks that have to be done, okay? And they can criticize you like nobody's business because they can pay attention to every single detail that's there, okay? So they're going to be there. So I love those people. Right. So their challenge area is that they need more input. Let me dig through the data more. Let me go through. They don't like the whole, can you just make an educated guess? They're like, why? If the data's here, let me go through it and get a real answer that's there. They need to be in the procedures and methods. So do you see how that's opposite of that E personality who says wing it? Okay. A high O personality is going to sit back and go, you know what we need to do? We need a 52-step process to go through that. Right. I walk into one dealership I have, I go, do you have a sales process? The guy goes, yeah, it's 19 steps. And I said, do you know that everybody that works for you can barely show up on time or remember where they work when they leave their house on how to get there? And you want them to show up and follow 19 steps in a process? That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. But to him, way over analytical and stuff. And I go, you know what? You can manage, you can't sell because you don't have the ability to float within a process. Okay. The O personality is quiet. They're not going to be the one that talks about their feelings. And they're very sensitive to criticism, which means what would be their biggest fear?
Sadness.
Criticism.
Hi.
Right? If they were wrong, whoo, right? I thought I was wrong once, but I wasn't.
That's the thing. What happens like for me when I'm not wrong? I don't have to fear criticism. That's why I can't be an O.
Okay.
Refuse.
We got you. We got you. The guy built his own computer. I'm just going to throw that out.
My son just built his last night.
Right. Yes. So who do you think's sitting and nerding out with them and they're both going, we're so E right now? No, you're not. Shut up.
I told you I'm a hoe, dude.
You are a hoe. Okay. So O's love it when you support their ideas, right? You have to give them specifics in whatever you're talking about. Okay. Agree with facts rather than emotions. They don't understand the whole get emotional about something. Okay. There's no need to get emotional, right? Now, give them both pros and cons. They're like, okay, I can make the decision based off of everything I know. They love the Benjamin Franklin thing. Let me sit down and write down the goods and the bads and what's going to happen so I can make my decisions, right? And they can make you a spreadsheet for anything you need. Okay. So all you got to do talk to them up front. They have difficulty understanding you when you tell them top level only. If you're not going to give them the details. So Rachel, if you're dealing with medical people, they tend to be more analytical as opposed to when Robin Williams was a doctor with a red nose, right? And go, because that's not characteristic of those individuals. So I need more details. And if you're going to go, it's going to make you money, they're going to say, how? Right? What's ROI is the favorite thing for the O. What's my return on my investment, right? And remember, anybody who has a really long cycle of schooling to get a degree, okay, is a person who's going to always ask you for ROI because they had to tell themselves, I'm going to go through 6, 8, 10 years of schooling for an outcome, right? And so that's what they're looking for. So you can't answer a question vaguely or not give it the merit when they ask you something, and you can't walk in with, oh my gosh, guess what I just found out, right? Because they're already building everything off of the data they had, and then you come add something else into it, and it just crumbles their world. Mm-hmm. Okay. The O personality says, I'd like to drive 3 vehicles, and then we're leaving to drive 3 more at another store. Okay. They'll tell you that in the beginning. We're not buying today, we're just doing research. Okay. These people have the longest buying cycle in history. Okay. These people will sit down. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, and I know this for a fact. There is a calculator from HP that was made in the 70s that when they pull out a calculator and turn it this way, you're in trouble because that calculator does interest rate amortization. It does all, and they're like, hold on. And you can't even enter things the way you want to. It's like you have to go, well, multiply, and then you hit a number. It's not like you go 12 times 6. You're like, well, multiply 12, enter 6, enter, right? It's just, woo. But these people sit there and they go, okay, great. You know what they also want to do? They go, let me look at this piece of paper. You want me to sign this? I'm going to read every word on this, right? And they often go, what's on the back? Is there stipulations on the back? Let me turn it over and read that too. Okay. And now to the E personality, you're like, good God, sign it. Okay. The R personality says, I don't have time for this. The R personality, the E will sit there and go, I'm so bored, pull out their phone and let you read it. Just to not be rude, they want the sale. The R personality will say, can you go out there and sit over there and do that so I can talk to the next person that's actually serious about buying? Okay. Well, guess what? The O is serious about buying. The O did every single bit of research before they came in. They love to ask you product knowledge questions just to see if you know it, because they already do. Okay? They're going to go, does this house have a pool? And if you go, I don't know, it's pretty, right? E personality. They're going to be like, wait. You don't even know this listing, right? Well, what was the last, they love to say this, what was the last house sold for in this area and when was it? Right? And you're like, it's a great question. They're going to go, idiot, can't buy from you. Right? And so you just got to know who you're dealing with and go through it. So how do I talk to that person? I tell them, look, it sounds like you got a plan, right? Which one do you like to drive first? Which one do you want to see first? What can I demonstrate to you first? Right? They want to know every product thing has to be 20 something minutes. Okay, so that means when you go talk about the product, you have to have a whole lot of detail with what you're talking about, because they need the information to validate the decision they already made to come in. Okay, now, are you going to get all of them to buy? No, because you're going to mess up somewhere. You just don't even know where it is. Okay, but if you want to get a 30% close rate, then you got to actually do everything slowly, provide them the details, and go through. If you're more analytical, the issue is you will try to out-analyze them, and that's going to backfire too. Okay, so when dealing with the O prospect, they're going to have to go through and drive it based on the details they gather from you to decide if you are somebody worthy of their money. So again, let them go through their process. You can't push them. They'll leave in a heartbeat because you're trying to hide something because you wouldn't show me the back of the contract. Okay. So now that we know what's going on, what would happen if we put 4 H's in a room and gave them a job? Sorry, Luigi's talking, but what?
It's not gonna get.
Is this a quiz?
Yeah.
Is there a quiz?
This is just, I'm asking you what's going to happen.
Not gonna get done. Everybody's gonna support each other's decision.
Yeah, everyone's going to be like, that's a great idea. I love that idea. Not a lot of execution, but a lot of love.
Right. Everybody's gonna be good with it, and they're gonna attempt from their actual viewpoint, but nobody's gonna actually, if you didn't give them steps 1 through 10 and tell them where to go, then they're all just gonna sit down and go, okay, he wants us to do this, we'll make an attempt, but we're gonna be frustrated, and they're just gonna sit there. Okay. What happens when I throw all the E's in a room and give them a job?
They leave the room and go to the bar.
They do. Right? The E's, you're going to come in and they're going to tell you why the music has to be really loud. You got to tell, and they're like, dude, we had a great time yesterday. Did you accomplish one thing? Was that what we were supposed to do? Right? Yeah, the job I gave you is supposed to be done. When I put 4 R's in a room, what do I get out of that room? Yeah, it's gonna look like WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Everybody's going to try to out-R the other one. They're going to be out there going, no, I told them to do this. They're all going to delegate to each other, and no one's going to do anything because they're just going to circle it around as they go through. When I put 4 O's in a room together and give them a job, what's going to happen?
They're going to still be analyzing tomorrow.
Yeah,
We'll overanalyze it.
well, we're getting ready to do it, but we didn't have the perfect process yet.
Correct. Because I have a 12-step, he's got a 20-step. They're all going to build out a plan, but nobody's going to actually do anything because they can't integrate the plans. Okay? But what happens when I take an H, an E, an R, and an O, put them in a room together?
Magic.
We accomplish it. No, only the E's do the magic. Yes. But we
Save
accomplish the goal. Okay? So can everybody identify themselves in the hero badging? Can you see where you are?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see what's inherent to your weakness and what is built into your strengths? Right? So I am never somebody who says you have to work on your weaknesses. I'll tell you that flat out. I'm going to say make your strengths better. Okay. So if you start and say, well, I'm an E. Okay. Because remember, if I go back to our first diagram that showed everything of all 4 together. Wow, that was a long time ago. Right? So if I look at this one, then you can be an HE or an EH. Okay? So typically salespeople are going to be an EH or an HE. Now, let me also tell you what this also says to you. The people that are in the H and the E category together, either HE or EH, that's their normal state, that makes up 69% of the population. Giggity. Okay, I didn't make that up. It's the real numbers. Okay, so almost 70% of the people fit into this category, and those people focus on a relationship. That's their main focus, is the feelings of what's going on. Now, if you're an RO or an OR, you're dealing with results. Your answer is what is happening. So the most difficult manager you can deal with would be an RO manager. I'm going to tell you what's there, and I have every detail as to why you suck. Okay, that person's just going to blast you with all the backup that they need. An O personality will put out all the reports. The R personality would execute on it, but if it's the secondary one, then you're going to do it less confrontational. But like that manager will fire you without feeling bad about it and already have a replacement coming in. Where the RO would be confrontational with you over the fact that your data doesn't work. Okay, Mike being the HO, right? He's going to be great at supporting people and backing himself up with the details and understands the relevance of that. But he doesn't have to jump up in the front. Huh?
I'm a hoe too, Joe.
Yes, yes. Just you saying that alone made this whole Zoom.
Beautiful.
This whole Zoom is great.
Hey, Carrie, how's it going?
Right. For those of you looking, Carrie Lynn Carter on Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, don't tag me in that on Facebook.
Yes, right. I'm just going to type where my hoe's at. You all better just start jumping in. Yeah. So, but my E personality, and with it's backed up by an R, or if it's an RE, it's going to be a motivational person that's trying to build a team that works together. The R team says, I'm leading you. So they don't like it when the number 2 passes them, right? That's going to strain the relationship. But if it's, right, somebody with the high R personality has their name in the company name, okay? So like if I wanted to say just randomly the Richardson Group, okay, that would be what? That means I want everybody to know it's me, it's my group, but we're going to have a damn good time at the same time. Okay, and if you come in and crush our groove, you're going to go away. And they have no issue with saying you're just not a good fit. Right? Time to bounce. Where an E personality, if they're an ER, the first thing they're going to do is say, how do I build this person into the fold? How do I get them to understand that they don't fit? And I'm going to use that as a guidance thing. Okay? So we all have all 4, correct? Okay, so anybody with an O can also see how they fit in an E and an R and the H. Okay, does anybody not know where they are? Yeah, it's Luigi, right? Yeah, so the O person.
Break all these things is I have like a little bit of everything, and it's like right in the middle of everything always.
Okay, so in dealing with an O personality, okay, the one that has to know all the details, he's the one sitting down. Now, I will tell you, in every one of our transactions going back and forth, he has never said, damn it, this is what I do and this is how I do it, and shut up everybody. And I know that the Colonel and Mike can say the same thing. But that one time when there was a kid who almost ran in the street and he yelled, hey, don't you go out in the street. He goes, see that? I was an R. I totally killed it. That's where I was. And you're like, dude, that's not where you rest. But an O personality will always, that's why I started in the beginning, we all have all 4. The O will say, let me tell you how I can justify every one of the 4. Yeah, it's true. Because you're a detailed person, you can see yourself in every one of them, but you don't always sit in that position, right? So if you would be more of the O, opposite of Carrie's hoe, right? Because again, you are a great support person. That's why you go out, find all the information and provide it to the group, right? You're like, I'm going to support this group. I'm going to go find all the information because I'm detail oriented enough and I can do all this stuff. Rachel, where are you? E what? No. Got an H.
Either an H or an R, an E and H or an R. I think more of an R.
Okay. So the statement is that if you were going to go E to R, okay, that means you're in the front, you're the one leading, as opposed to taking direction. Where do you see yourself?
I don't know.
Okay. So here's the test. Rachel, you're not an R. Okay. Now, what did she just say to me? Okay.
Okay.
Do you think an R would have said okay?
Hammer, nail.
Nope.
Right. If I said, if you look at it, right, I do this all the time. I go, you're not an R. And if they go, no, bullshit, I'm an R, then you know they are. Right. But if if the instinct isn't to challenge everything right away, right? So you would go more EH. That's there, right? And again, this is the people that care about relationships. These are the people that care about people more than results. Okay. Now, does that mean you don't care about results? No, there's times you got to care about results, but that's not your normal status point, right? Is there something, if somebody comes up and goes after King, right? You know, R is going to be there because you're going to now say, I'm taking control, I'm doing this and doing that. Sorry, King is the dog, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. We always grab that part of our personality that we need at the time. So can we, if you can see it in yourself, you can see it in your prospect, and you can go after that person in the way that they need to now. What was it?